You are now tuned in to MasterOfMyOwnTv, where the prerogative of this channel is to help the respective athlete, parent, coach, and those of the masters become the best version of themselves. Now today we're going to talk about a little snippet, all right? There was a post that was talking about the love of the game being taken away by coaches. And man, I know this, I've seen this all too well. Now, in my 20-year career, I can't say that I did all that just for the love of the game. You know, since a young man, I knew exactly where I wanted to take things, and that's where I set my sights on as far as my vision goes, you know? And from Little League, middle school, high school, college, NFL, I've had many coaches, and I've had many teammates, you know, and I got to see a lot of different dynamics between the two. And of course, just when it comes to men, you know, we don't necessarily like authority figures, you feel me? So that's already one strike as far as getting along between coaches and players, right? But as I talked about in prior videos, there are many coaches, you know, they don't necessarily know what they're doing. They might have played in high school. They might have played, you know, rec ball, recreational. The amount of people that make it to college sports and professional sports is very slim as it relates to the totality of things, you know? So you're putting your future, you know, especially if you want to go far, in the hands of your coaches. Now imagine putting your future in the hands of somebody that doesn't necessarily know what they're doing, let alone they just don't like you for whatever reason, right? You know, they cannot like you because you have a masculine frame, you know? You don't necessarily let what they say guide your decisions. In the grand scope of things, that's great, but when it comes to being coached within the organization, there's times where you gotta kind of concede and, you know, give up power. And not many men are willing to do that, especially if they're from the hood or from impoverished areas or never had a father figure in their life, you know? Within that, there's a thin line between guidance and abuse. And I've both been a victim of that abuse. I don't really call myself a victim because I use all circumstances to mold me into a greater version of myself. But like I said, I've experienced quite a few things, and I've seen people go through quite a few things, you know, as they try to strive to, you know, make it, you know, not only make it for themselves, but for their families or whatever. Within that, I've seen a lot of people let what a coach gotta say or just circumstances get to their head, you know, and it knock them off their pivot. You know, it takes them out of alignment of achieving their goal. Example, right? Say you are a high school athlete and you want to make it to the college level, but you have a pretty anal coach, you know, that, let's say they just have a favorite and you're not that favorite, even though you can produce more than that favorite, you know? You can't just emotionally react. Men don't get nowhere by emotionally reacting. You feel me? Sometimes you gotta say it's the beginning of the season and things not necessarily going your way. You gotta stay in that thing, especially if it's your last year. You have to truly stay positive, you know, work your ass off to the bone, study film like a mug, you know. You gotta go to extremes to show the separation of, or the gap in talent between you and that person. You feel me? You have to make it, the gap so astronomical that other people look and be like, why is he in front of him? Why is he getting playtime in front of him? I've been in that situation, particularly in college, you know? That's a story for another day. But, you know, within that, the beginning of the season, you know, they had their guy. As time went on, I started to create a separation. Little did I know, by the end of the season, I ended up having to get all the reps. This is playing 90 to 100 plays a game the last 5 games of the season, you know? And that put a lot on your boy, you know? Imagine playing 100 plays a game on defense consistently, you feel me? Within that, you know, I learned a lot of things. Conditioning for sure. 2, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. 3, you gotta stick it out because you never know what could happen towards the end of the season. Nobody can anticipate the future. Yeah, you can use data to do it, but there are outliers within every set of data that can change everything by the slightest variable being introduced. You feel me? But never let nobody take your love away from something, man. You know, you are always in control of your destiny. And another example, I went to, like I said in other videos, I went to 2 elementary schools, I went to 2 high schools, and 2 middle schools. Within that, again, you gotta introduce yourself to new people. Everybody got their favorites, especially when you move into different areas. So I made it a practice to continue to put my own back against the wall, give it my all, and, you know, dominate whoever was in front of me, you know? Not let what the crowd saying get to you. And in high school, I could have never been heard about. I literally could have never made it to college if I would have just bent to the will of those, you know, who were coaches and had power over my situations. I was a defensive end. I was a little thin framed at the time, but they tried to put me at guard like I was nobody, you know, and this was my sophomore year going into my junior year. I got hurt my freshman year, right? And again, I switched to this school in 8th grade. So I had a decent 8th grade year. The 8th grade and the 9th grade teams, the coaches, they were pretty close. So like they knew who was coming up next or whatever. You know, I was somebody that was pretty nice. So they knew what I was capable of to an extent. I got hurt unexpectedly. Sidebar, every time I ever got hurt in my football career, it has been my own teammate that injured me. That is crazy. But yeah, I got hurt. Didn't play the rest of the season my freshman year. By the time sophomore year came around, like I cracked my tibia. So it was definitely, it was an experience building my way back. But so again, sophomore year, 9th grade, they got their own team. So it's strictly 9th grade graders on the 9th grade team. When you go up to sophomore year, when I go up to the sophomore year, then there's JV. So that's, it could be the 10th graders and the 11th graders. That's on the JV team. So boom, I'm thrown into the JV squad. You know, I got to work my way up. They already got their favorites for the seniors, and then again the second string seniors. If you was second or third string, you was playing on the JV. So you know, it got to I've always been the man, you know, in my career, and during that time I experienced major adversity where, you know, I was like third string on JV. I'm like, wow, you feel me? So boom, I'm going to war with these individuals because at the time we got seniors that's, you know, nationally recognized and recognized within the state. You know, then those that didn't start, again, they got the reps on JV. So I'm like, damn, boy, I'm really in this position right now. Did I let that stop me? No. The season didn't go my way. Just coming off an injury. I could have easily said, man, I give up, or, nothing cracking. I went a whole year. I'm like, dang, it is an experience I've never been before, complete adversity, right? So, boom, the season over, we go into the off season. We go into spring training, then you go into spring ball. So spring training, I'm lifting. I'm lifting weights like I never lifted before. I'm training like I never trained before. I'm laser sharp focused. Again, I'm defensive end. Spring ball come around, they try to put me at guard for whatever reason, so I start to see the even though, and again, I'm dominating when it comes to, defensive end. And again, I got all Caucasian coaches, you feel me? So they pick of who they want to put in the space that they want to put in. The particular school I went to, that was a common theme, they promoted their players to be out front and to have the opportunity to be looked at to go to school for free, to go to college for free, to get a scholarship, So by the end of spring ball, I recognized this pattern of what was being laid out, and I made a decision to transfer schools, right? Now, I had no eggs in this basket of the school I was going to. It was other people on the team. They made a connection with the coaches over there. They knew them, I didn't know them. You feel me? But where I'm at, it ain't working out. So what do? I transfer. I make this transfer, and next thing you know, I got to go through, what they call that, man? All this clearinghouse stuff. My old school snitched on me. They didn't want me, but they didn't want me to go nowhere else, which is extremely selfish. So boom, I go to this new school. I gotta sit out the first 3 games. Crazy. Sat out the first 3 games. Had to pass all this clearinghouse stuff. They brought me to it was like a court system for this stuff. I can't remember the exact names of it right now, but I went through a whole spiel. On top of that, the school I'm going to, they one defensive end they had. He started ever since he was a freshman. He's in the NFL right now, The other defensive end that they had, he was every bit of like 6'6". So I go in there, and again, I never had the biggest frame, especially playing defensive end. And again, that never mattered. Why? Because when I was younger, rec league, I was playing kids 2 to 3 years older than me. So I was already used to that, and we'll talk about that in another video. But boom, so the coach, he looking at me like, what make you think you can come here and start or play? What make you think you can come here and play? I'm like, look, hey man, you just sit back and watch me work. You feel me? So coach fan me off. Again, this is why it's important to have people that have your back and, got your best interests at heart. My pops, he went and talked to the coach, and the coach really didn't like that, and I know he didn't like that because he started talking shit the next day. Like, oh, we got somebody that think, X, Y, and Z, this, that, and whatever. I shake that off. Again, you can't let coaches decide your future. And, at most, what, they gonna be there 2 to 4 years, and you never know how things shift. They could be there for a year. You just gotta keep giving your all, man. It gotta be in you, not on you. You can't let external factors affect your vision and affect your willpower. So boom, we get into the season. It's 3 games up. So boom, we start playing. While we practicing leading up to the game, we just start practicing. Even though people 6'6", even though people got offers and been starting since, a freshman year, my play was undeniable. Absolutely undeniable. when I did start playing, again, we 3 games into the season, I'm just now starting my season. By the end of the season, my stats are just as good as this individual that got offers from Alabama, you know? I'm getting county and state recognition. I went from never being heard about to superseding all these adversities to being state recognized and nationally recognized. By the end of the season, I had 17 D1 scholarships. You know, most people in that position beforehand, before they got to actually prove themselves, they would have gave up. You know, the amount of doubt that I had, you know, against me. Parents, coaches, you know, players. I'm coming to a new team. They're like, oh, who this light skinned guy? You feel me? And I never had the mean mug. I just smile, you know. Everywhere I went, I smiled. Coaches hated that too. I can't help what they don't like. I can only be myself. You feel me? That's another thing. You don't gotta be powdered in the face and to, you know, act like you're serious or to show you focused or to show, you know, you tenacious or got aggression. You flip that switch. The best players are the ones that can be mannerable and polished. Yeah, so the best players are the ones, you know, that can be mannerable, polished, and public, you know, speaking to the cameras, speaking to the newscast, walking between the white lines, and, you know, turn into that animal. I wouldn't be where I am if I would have let the people that things say are people's opinions, you know, or not yet gaining notoriety, get in my way of the vision that I saw in here. You feel me? It takes faith aligned with actions and a plan to execute for you to achieve your dreams, recognition, whatever it is you may desire. You know, I like to think that I am a pillar of inspiration for that, because literally at every level of my 20 years, I've been doubted just because of my thin frame. Maybe because my thin frame, maybe because I'm light skinned, you feel me? Maybe because people thought I should play a different position. A long time people was like, you should play outside linebacker this time. When I was like, man, look, I like my hand in the dirt. I don't care if this guy is 6'8" and I'm 6'2", you know, he's still gonna get this work. It might look wild when we line up against each other. It's like a David and Goliath story, truly, many a times, you know, but I always came out on top. You know, it is never what it looked like. You should never let what others say deter you from your dreams. You feel me? And if I can surmount all those obstacles, I'm sure that you guys can too. And this just doesn't just attend to student athletes. Regular citizens as well. You want to be great in business, you know, you want to be great in basketball, soccer, you want to be a great artist, whatever dream you might have for yourself, you know, you can't let no noise outside of you deter you from that vision and that goal. And if you can stay focused long enough, and focus is really, I'm giving my own definition of focus. This is focus. Blocking out everything outside of this right here so you can attain your goal. Nothing can get in, nothing can get out, you know, guided by your own willpower, desires, and of course, the presence of God, right? With that being said, continue to be great, continue to be the master of your own fate. If you would like to book a one-on-one session with me, you can reach out to me through my website, MasterOfMyOwnTv.com, or you can email me through justbusiness1234@protonmail.com. If you feel like I've given game today or through my other videos, imagine the game I'm not giving you. You know, I definitely can help someone achieve their dreams, desires, goals from the ground up, you know? And my legacy is a testament to my ideology. You feel me? So tap in with your boy. Bull out.